Okay, we have all 4 in here. That's great. Let's see if they stick here. Especially when we quantum travel. What's going on? So let's have a check on contracts. So we have Interstellar. Here we have Tresla to Ruin, Bajini to Ruin. 150k, 300k in total. Wanna check in this test run, did CIG bring back stacking contracts with the Halsey or didn't do? Is it possible to load the boxes from the contracts? Is it possible to unload the boxes from the contract? To find that out, we will fly to Tresla. So when we have a check on this contract, let's see if they're still here. They are. Interstellar. You can bring from an RCOP mining area to Buena Ravine and Sunset Mesa. You can bring from Briar's Breaker Yard to Jackson Swap. And also from Anvik. Yeah, you have multiple pickups but 1 delivery. This would be an easier contract if you want to do that. And when we check on the SEUs, what do we have? The biggest box is 8 SEU. And the total amount of SEUs we have to deliver for this one contract is 50, 52, 55. But the 8 box, so you cannot do that in a Cutlass Black. You may be able to do that in a Spirit C1, in a Zeus Mark II, or even a Zeus Mark ES, the one, yeah. That would be a thing you can do that. And this one, here we will deliver 16 SU boxes, the biggest container. So that is a typical Star Lancer. Star Lancer probably, but definitely the C2. It will definitely take a while and you need to have logistics. Here you pick up from 2 different locations an X amount of SUs and deliver it to 1 location. That is an easy doing, 150. We rather argue, is it worth the effort for 150k? Here we have 300k and here we have to deliver a lot of boxes. Also from one pickup location, but we need to deliver to 2 delivery locations. So here you need to have some sort of logistics. You need to differentiate or distinguish the boxes that goes to Sunset Mesa and the box that goes to Buena Ravine. You can argue, okay, there's 20 of medical supplies, so you just do 50-50, and that's good. That is, what is it? Rookie. Yeah, that is rookie level, and it reads like rookie contract. And then you have a lot of stellar contracts. Lots of stellar contracts. The most rewardable when it comes to money is 60k, and the cheapest one is 31. Oh, wait. Are we in cruise control? No. We would say these stellar contracts are the typical ones we already knew from Covalex. A lot of contracts you can do so to keep yourself busy, distracted from life, and call it a day after the end of the session when you did some contracts. And we didn't do the analysis if there are some stackable contracts from like let's say Tresla to New Babbage, back and forth, or whatnot. We do not care, actually. We do not do contracts, but it is interesting to check out. Planetary, Covalex, Rookie 61 is the highest paying contract as well. No, 76 is the highest paid contract in the rookie rank, yeah. You can work your ass off to get a better rank, of course, and then you will get better paid. That is absolutely possible. So what we need to do here is, first we need to refuel, because as soon as we have loaded the Hull C, we will not do refueling or any of that. And because we are not really used to come here with the Hull C, we have no idea where the docking port is. What's that? Station turret? Station turrets without markers? Yeah, I gotta say, docking with the Polaris is for whatever reason easier. Interesting. So we need to buy some food and drinks.
Cargo services. Let me see what we've got. Sending you a deck assignment.
Big moment.
I'm tracking you. Go ahead and get into position to get your cargo transferred.
Are we in the box? Unable.
Hold tight. We'll start to transfer your cargo.
You do not need to place properly. That is awesome.
All cargo's been transferred. Safe flying.
Yeah, sounds like on drugs. Do we need to check the contract to find out what we have? The green boxes, yes, agricultural, medical, iodine. Iodine. The white ones we would assume iodine, and the other one. Yeah, it is really interesting when it comes to building your fleet. Back in the day, that wasn't that long ago, 1.5 years ago, we would never spend IRL money into this project. Not because of this project, just because it is supposed to be a video game. And we do not want to spend a lot of money into a video game in general. And then half a year later, around Christmas, we thought we want to be a salvager. That's why we spent money for the Vulture, 175 or a little bit more. And in order to move the boxes, we also wanted to have a ship to move the boxes. And so the Zeus CL came into place. That is a 300. That is 300 IRL for this Star Citizen project. And then we figured pretty fast that the Zeus CL is too small. And of course we could say, yeah, we can buy the C2 in game, and we did. That was 324, and even later on something happened.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Approved to dock.
Something happened after we spent money on this project. We cannot explain what happened, but something happened. And now we even say, why should we buy a ship in-game when the Jesus Christ robbers steal our ship we bought in-game with hard-earned credits? And once you spend money, you do not hesitate that much anymore to spend more money. No idea if there is some sort of psychological trick here, but we fell into it. And so we pledged for another ship, just because of variation, because only do salvaging is boring, only do hauling is boring. So that would be probably the reason why we pledged for the Meteor, because we thought we need to have some sort of variation. So what we find out here is, even with a half-loaded ship, it seems to be possible.
Landing complete.
Yeah, and then after a while, yeah, it was CitizenCon last year. What? 6,000 already? From Lowell to Tresla to Baicini, 6,000 fuel costs. So we pressed twice now and still have no box. Do we have the other account? Accepted? Baicini. Yeah, we are at Baicini. We track.
Thanks for contacting Cargo Services. Checking for an open slot.
It looks like as if we cannot stack here. We don't get a box.
Cargo Services. Let me see what we got. Okay, here's your deck assignment.
Yeah, she sounds like as if she's not reliable. And when we need to call 4 times in order to get the box, that is verified. She's not reliable. In position.
Hold tight. Start to transfer your cargo. Transfer complete. You're good to go.
Looks like, yes.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Quantum travel engaged.
When it comes to building your fleet, and once you spend money on, you do not hesitate that much anymore to spend more money on. And it doesn't even matter if you pledged for a ship, you melt it and pledge for another ship, use a mixture of store credit and new money, you don't mind. And what happened to us is CitizenCon 24 came along and they were talking about insurance and warranty, and they pointed that out. Listen to it, this is important. So we listened, and we didn't really understand what they actually told, but we said once Star Citizen goes live, insurance goes live, and then we all fucked. And then we thought it would be good if we would create a ship fleet with LTIs on it. And someone, I think it was in the global chat, someone was pointing that out. They do everything to make the whale paying more money, and that is happening to us. So we do think about the ironclad. We want to have LTI on the ironclad. Okay, luckily we have one. But we also want to have LTI on the Banu, and we don't have now. We have 10 years. So we can melt the Meteor, the Banu Merchantman, and upgrade the Raylan and use store credit, and we will reduce the amount of ships in the fleet, which is a plus. And eventually we don't even need to spend IRL money to accomplish that, because if we have now 100 IRL store credit plus 240 for the Meteor plus the Banu itself 560, then we have 600, 800, 900 in store credit. At the end, when we melt the Banu, if we would melt the Meteor, we would have 800 store credit. And even if the merchantman would be more expensive than at the moment we have pledged for it the first time, at the end we would have LTI on it. And this is an interesting aspect that's going on, that even we spend the money just to have LTI on a virtual spaceship. Because if you have a big spaceship, why not have LTI? You will have it on an expensive car. You would have it on your house. You would have it on your yacht if you have one. You would spend LTI or something like a very well coverage of insurance to that specific object. And you will say, okay, it's pretty stupid to have some sort of insurance here in a video game, but this is Star Citizen after all. They want to have some sort of, how would you say, a simulation close to realism or whatnot. But of course you can say, why having this complexity on a video game? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really make sense to have that sort of complexity on a video game. But that is the thing, yeah, they don't build a video game. They never intended to. Yeah, now we have a ship fleet that is a mixed bag, and at the end you only fly with a couple of these ships, and we usually fly either with the Vulture or with the Taurus. And when we do big loads, then we use the Starlift, and that's it. We don't have RSI Zeus CL anymore, but even if we would have, we probably would use it as a shuttle, and it is not fast for a shuttle, not fast enough for a shuttle. And so when we think about, okay, we have now a whale account, and if we would melt all the ships we pledged for, just for the sake of keeping a small ship fleet, would be some sort of waste of potential, right? The other thing what we could do is we could sell or gift some ships we have, and eventually we'll look into that if we can sell some ships. But the selling ships aspect is a problem, because usually the people want to spend less on a grey market ship than when they use the official RSI. And when we pledge on, it's not a pledging, then is an actual buying. When we buy a ship with IRL on, let's say, the impound, then we usually spend more money on. And when we go to the impound, we usually look for stuff we don't find anywhere else. Are these enemy NPCs for making people panicking? Yeah, looks good. So how do we look? We look at the station. Nose to the station. One contract is already gone. Second is going. Everything moved away. We would say that's a success. Contract complete. Alright, this is interesting. Here in Pyro, we have the Ling family popping up. We would have expected to get that in Stanton, but no. And here from Carnot View, where we are, we need to deliver sunset berries to Enwick. 6 SCUs. 6 SCUs in total. And 10 SCUs with the CryoPods. Let's find out if we have here at Ruin Station open elevators. This looks like. Let's see if we can just come here. This is highly experimental. Really, really interesting. I mean, we do not need to forget, yeah, these are contracts. And what do we see? We lost one. One of... Why is the door open? One of 4 of these CryoPods we lost somewhere. And now let's have a check. Can we stick? Yes, we can stick. We can stick these. We always said salvaging is a honest profession. And now we are moving CryoPods around. And that from Hurston. No idea what the Hurstons are doing. Look, it goes inside. You can stack 8 SUs in height. Alright, so from Tresla
Complete.
to Baicini, through the hole to Ruin Station, in the default loadout of the Hull C, 8,000. Doesn't really make sense when from Lorville to Tresla to Baicini is 6,000. But we do not complain. Interesting. Here in Pyro, the doors are closed once you're docked. Yeah, this is our very first time here at Ruin Station, docking port. Yeah, we would say Pyro, Ruin Station is a fucked up shithole. Lorville, however, is paradise compared to. So, entrance, right? So we will store this one. Store. So we have, what was it called? 6 SUs. Now we have 3 SUs in cargo CryoPods, and there is a contract from Carnot View to Envik, 6 SUs. Ling family, and once we do that, yeah, once we accomplished all, okay, so do we have Red Wind? We have Red Wind, still rookie. From Ruin Station to Baicini, we could go back and forth, and we could say, okay, regarding to the time we spend, the money is not good, but we do not risk anything but losing time. Do we learn anything from it? We would say not much, because it's just Hull C cargoing, hauling. For a space trucker, this might be the dream, yeah, flying from, let's say, Tresla to Baicini to Ruin Station and back. Why not? I mean, it's trucking, right? That could be a thing. For a space trucker, from what we see now, with the Hull C, space trucking could become fun here. But what we want to go to Carnot View, and we use our latest in our ship fleet. So let's see if these outdoor elevators use the same warehouse. And it does. So if you do not want to get a hangar, just come by, get rid of cargo and leave. These external elevators seems to be the way to go. It's an interesting aspect. We like the idea. So let's see if we can stack these, because they have not a proper height in SU. We cannot. So if you think about it, right, they use random wannabe cargo hauler to move them CryoPods with body inside across star systems. What kind of shady business is that? Black Pearl.
You are cleared to leave.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for visiting. Safe travels.
In the eyes of space trucking, we would say we like the change that will come up with the 4.4 patch, Star Citizen Alpha 4.0. So here we deliver the CryoPods. Is that a quantum bug? We slow down, but there is no atmosphere.
Landing gear deployed.
Beautiful music. Fits perfectly well to this beautiful place. Sacron's plot. Alright, so we couldn't deliver 100%. But they recognized the 3 we delivered. We click on submit. Dead Saints. Green, all good. Check reputation. Dead Saints, trainee. Yeah, we did the trainee. Now have a check. We are still in Pyro. We could do endless these trainee program. A lot of trainee programs. No idea why. So the red win in Pyro. But here we have red win, the other one, the actual rookie ones. Now we are landed. We could have the same Halsey route. From Jackson swap to Cruel 4 and 5. Yeah, 4 and 5. Biggest box, 16 SUs, 200. Dali's daughter to Spirit to Tisa. No Halsey. But with the Star Lancer, there are plenty of contracts you can do with the Star Lancer. Not the Star Lancer. Maybe the Star Lancer, but we mean the Star Lifter. Yeah, and we assume never ever do a contract for either Headhunters or EFP. Yeah, enjoy the roof.
Engines active.
580 of 170. We can basically go to Patch City. Can we? Yes, we can. This 350p in the standard loadout, we can fly 100 gigamiles from Ruin to Pyro 5 and to Patch City. That is 140 gigamiles. Patch City, a thankful station for refueling. We have no idea what else you can do here.
An available space has been located. This vehicle already has a space assigned. Please proceed to the designated location. Arrival complete. Welcome.
Still 133 fuel capacity. That costs us 4,000. So a complete refueling with the 315p origin.
You are cleared to leave.
Yeah, that was even something like quite fast. And we can jump right through. Is it just us, or did they change something with the visual? Lighting quality here changed a bit. That is amazing. Yeah. When we increase or exchange the quantum drive of this one, we may even fly further.
Core system deactivated.
Yeah. The question we ask here is, how much money do we get for these 6 SCUs of Golden Madman? And of course we could say the amount of SCUs compared to the money, or compared the same amount of SCUs in trading, we would definitely make more money with that, with these trading contracts, hauling contracts we mean. But we fly for 6 SCUs to get 83. We have to say this is the very first contract, and we only do it for the rep, yeah. And as you can see, we got the Red Wind, Rookie, Ling, Rookie, Dead Sense, Trainee. And when we have a look at hauling, we have Red Wind, Seeking Hauling. We already did this, Seeking Hauling, but in each orbit you will have a new Red Wind seeking new haulers. So you do this type of contract 4 times here in Stanton to unlock. We already unlocked the Rookie, but we will get orbit proprietary contracts, whatever that means. Interstellar, we still have 4, and it might be that we have 4 until we left the Rookie rank. And here we have the same, some R-Corp area mining facility to Chavla and Jackson, from Briars to Ravine, only Ravine. Yeah, we are not quite sure if we are looking for either the Red Wind or the Ling. And what we like is that there are hauling contracts you can do with the Hull C inside the Rookie rank. You need to wrap up, you do not need to wrap up that much in order to be able to do hauling contracts in a Hull C. For those who want to be space truckers with the Hull A, Hull B, Hull C, Hull D, Hull E, if CIG decides to continue this some sort of lineup of contracts, this would be a nice thing. Stellar only Colex, Planetary only Colex. So you have even a separation in a contracts manager. No, here you have a mixed. Planetary is mixed, Colex and Redwin, but a lot of small contracts, small amount of SCUs that you can easily do in a small hauling ship, like a Zeus, like a C1, like a Raft, a Taurus. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these you can even do with the Cutlass Black. So check on the unverified hauling. We have 3 headhunters. We are not interested in the headhunters, but the Dead Saint, look at that. The Dead Saints offers you 5 contracts. Only one is under 200 SCUs. So if you want to do money, yeah, if you do the money run, you want to have a small ship, 8 SCUs, 4 SCUs, okay, 128. Here would be at least a Zeus Mock or even a Raft if you're a fan of a Raft. And when we see the destinations, Grimhex to Sunset, Grimhex to Rustville, Grimhex to Ashland, that will take you a lot of time to deliver one fucking SCU box. It gives you 250k, There is no risk involved regarding of losing money, but you will spend a lot of time in order to accomplish these very, very small contracts with very small amount of SCUs. Here as well, from Cruel 5 to Ashland, Riviera, 2 delivery locations. That means organics from Dudley's, no, from Orison to Rat's Nest Dudley's. This is even a station to station. You may be able to do this with the Halby eventually, with the Halsey. This could be a check. Maybe this is what we do. We go to Orison. This has the Rat's Nest and Dudley, even a Halsey. No, Orison does not have. Orison does not have. This is definitely not a Halsey contract. So this is probably one thing, right? But if you have a check on stacking, this is not a stacking, but you could do from Orinth. Is that on Hurston? Hurston to Crusader. Yeah, we do not necessarily see here an opportunity to actually stack and create a route. So this would be a downside if you want to do this dead chain stuff. But yeah, we haven't wrapped up, and this one is, do we see? Yeah, rookie rank. I mean, if you are for the money, you can easily wrap up. Let's see the Ling family. We thought the Ling family has something to offer. Here, rookie rank, yeah, 222. Rookie hauling, and here as well. It is long distance. Okay, here we need to pick up a lot of boxes. What is it? 6, 7, 9. We need to pick it up from a lot of places and then bring it back to Carnot View. We could do, but 200, yeah, this is the thing. This is the problem we have with it. 200 money for rookie rank contracts. That is highly inflational. Is that even a word? The inflation we have already. Oh, look at that. The inflation we already have in Star Citizen, that will even increase with these hauling contracts.